That was Bernie Sanders at last night's debate, continuing his attack on capitalism, and of course, to his point, millennials eating it up. But will his criticism of Wall Street and all these CEOs, by the way, not just downtown, gather even more voters? Rejoining me now, Daniel Halper, along with Gina, Loudon, and Richard Fowler. Richard, let me start with you first. Sanders joined the Verizon strikers here in New York earlier in the week. I got to tell you, I've got relatives and friends who work at Verizon. I think they got a sweet deal. I mean, they all make over $100,000 a year. They got incredible packages. When I tell you they've got an amazing deal, they've got an amazing deal, yet they're being portrayed as victims.
Well, I wouldn't say that at all, Charles. I think what we're seeing here, what Bernie Sanders is talking about, is the same thing Donald Trump is talking about. More and more American jobs are being outsourced overseas, right? And they're not making these jobs back at home. So these companies are making billions and billions and billions of dollars in profits. They're not investing in America. They're investing in China. They're investing in Sri Lanka. They're investing in Taiwan. And they need to be investing right here in America. And I think we need to hold these companies accountable. It's not necessarily being against capitalism. And it's not being against free trade. It's saying that free trade should also be fair trade. And when you have China's minimum wage or Indonesia's minimum wage at 75 cents and ours at 7.25, that's not fair trade.
You know, Gina, General Motors sold more cars in China last year than America. And for every car they sold in America, they sold 2 outside of this country. It's not a business decision to build a car here, put it on a ship, and send it over there. Now, some of this stuff that we think are with shipping jobs are actually just opportunities outside of this country, and we're starting to conflate the two. But if you already have a great job, you're working downtown in New York City at Verizon, making $120,000 a year with a high school diploma, I just think that you're overreaching.
Yeah, I think that's overreaching too, Charles. And I think millennials fail to understand that, for example, raising the minimum wage it kills jobs. It's not a job maker. That's a job killer. They also, it is completely true. And it's also,
no, it's not.
Can I just
not
finish?
Even remotely.
But can I finish? So this is the other thing that happens. Nobody wants to talk about what union bosses make and what unions have done to corporations in America and how much union bosses may be at fault for our jobs being shipped overseas.
Right.
And so if we're going to have the conversation, I think we should have the whole conversation. Nobody likes our jobs going away, Charles, but let's have the whole conversation.
I think that's right. And, Dan, there is some truth to the fact that there are echoes, intertwining messages with Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, and to a degree they're both kind of saying to corporate America, there's a limit to what you can make. But that's not how the country was built. Do you think we're going to go that way?
I don't think so. Look, there's a reason Bernie's picking on Verizon. He's picking on Verizon to attack Hillary Clinton. Verizon paid Hillary Clinton hundreds of thousands of dollars to give an hour-long or some very short speech. Obviously, Bernie Sanders is trying to highlight that. He's trying to implicitly suggest that there was something untoward about her making a lot of money in a short amount of time from a company that has business in front of the U.S. government. Donald Trump, by the way, has a similar argument, which is why he claims to be self-funded and why he claims to not be, bought and paid for by the special interest. It's a similar argument, and it's finding a lot of resonance because a lot of people feel like there's something untoward going on with our politicians.
Well, also, let's face it, our economy has been a horrible economy. Wages have been down. We know that the American public is hurting. There's no doubt about that. But the reasons why and the solutions could be even more dangerous than what got us here in the first place. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll bring you back later. But